All right, what's going on, everybody? Let's get right into it. Yesterday, as a result of the, like I said, Deflategate investigation, NFL suspended Tom Brady for 4 games. Fined the Patriots organization $1 million and 2 draft picks. Like I already said in my previous video, I said anything more than a slap on the wrist would have been just ridiculous, would have been just out of hand. And what do you know? Roger Goodell does not disappoint, does not surprise. First of all, to talk about the Wells report, I read parts of it, didn't read all of it. It's like 163 pages. I don't have time for all that. But first of all, before I even talk about Tom Brady's punishment, I want to talk about the Patriots' punishment, because at Ted Wells' own admittance, in his own report, he says, I don't have time. I don't remember the exact language, but he was saying, no Patriots, coaches or personnel, anybody in the organization did any wrongdoing or broke any rules. He specifically says that. And still, Roger Goodell felt the need, or the NFL felt the need, that the Patriots also needed to be implicated. The Patriots organization needed to be implicated in this in this punishment, which is ridiculous because in your own investigator's report, he says the Patriots organization didn't do anything wrong. Secondly, to move to Tom Brady and his punishment. At the end of the investigation, Ted Wells concludes that, and you have to really listen to the language he uses here, that it's more probable than not that Brady was generally aware. Basically what that means is it's possible that he might have known something. It's possible that he may have known something. We're not sure what he knew or how much he knew of it, but he knew something. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Brady didn't, and it said, the Patriots organization and Brady obstructed the investigation and they didn't cooperate. Everybody was, when they were asked for an interview, they gave it. They answered all the questions. They did everything. I know the guy, I can't remember his first name, McNally, the one that was referred to himself as the deflator. He had 4 interviews, and then the Patriots denied his request for a 5th one. I don't know what you didn't get in 4 interviews that you're going to get with a 5th, but you know what I'm saying. If you want to keep beating a dead horse, that's cool. And, Tom Brady didn't turn over his cell phone. That's his cell phone. You know what I'm saying? That's his property. He bought it with his money that he earned. If he don't want to give it to you, deal with it. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to find something to charge him with. It's not his responsibility to incriminate himself. That's not how things work. Like I said, at the end, he couldn't find anything really tangible to tag Brady with, so he just said, yeah, he probably did. He probably did it. And before I get any further, 2 things I want to clear up. I'm not a Patriots fan, so this is not me just saying, oh, you guys are just hating on Tom Brady. That's not. I'm not saying that. That's a little true, but I'm not saying that. It's just yeah. Let me get to that right quick. The reason why this whole story took traction in the first place was because it was the Patriots. It was because it had to do with Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? If this had happened to anybody else, we would have been like, what? Like, what? They're deflating balls? What? Who cares? And it goes back to the whole Spygate deal, where the Patriots were again caught doing something wrong, which wasn't really wrong, but again, public opinion, commish made another decision based on what everybody wanted. That's a whole nother deal. Where was I going? Yeah, it has to do with that whole deal. And people just for that reason, people just really don't like Bill Belichick, the Patriots, and Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. And I know me, a lot of you gonna say, aren't you a Rams fan? Like, shouldn't you hate Tom Brady? No, I mean, for a while I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. For a while I did. I was a little kid and I was watching the Super Bowl and Tom Brady took my team apart on that last drive. So yeah, for a few years I was mad. But then as I started to grow older, and I started to really fall in love with the sport of football, I just had to have nothing but respect for this dude. I just have to have nothing but respect for the success that he brings, the time he puts into his craft, and the results that he gets. You know, I'm a LeBron James fan. LeBron James is my favorite player, but you have to respect what the San Antonio Spurs did to the Heat in that final series last year. That was probably the greatest team performance ever in the history of an NBA Finals. I'm not saying that that was the best team ever. I'm just saying that was probably the best. You know what I'm saying? I have to give credit where credit is due. So that's me. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a Tom Brady fanboy. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? A Patriots fan who's just bitter and angry and act like the world's out to get us. There's no us, because I don't even identify myself with those people. I'm just saying. But like I said, and the second thing is if this whole report looks like Roger Goodell went to Ted Wells and said, look, okay, got this story brewing up, you know what I'm saying? I need to do something about it, so just get me enough, get me something that I can go off of, that I can, that I can punish Brady with. It really does look like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's really all it is. It's a PR move. This story, because at first when the Colts first went to the league and said, hey, the Patriots are deflating balls, the league was like, what? They didn't even take him serious. It wasn't until the story broke and it got out and people started to, oh, Brady's a cheater, the Patriots are cheaters, they shouldn't even be playing in the Super Bowl, the coach shit, which is, like I mentioned in the last video, just isn't true. Colts had no chance of winning that game. That's a whole nother story. Oh yeah, the coach, we should take this away and take that away. That was when the story gained traction, and that's when the NFL picked up the investigation. And now we arrived to this point here. And proof of that, you know what I'm saying, is you look at a few teams that have tampered with balls in the past and look at what's happened to them. I believe it was the Panthers and Vikings. It was like a year or two ago, some time ago. I can't remember exactly. They were caught. It was a cold winter game, and they were caught. And both teams, as a matter of fact, were caught warming the footballs up. Which you might say, oh, it's not the same thing, but it's the same principle. They're trying to make the ball easier to handle. Which, in my opinion, I'm all for. Why would you want to use a football that's tough to handle? It's like it's in a rainy game and you don't wipe the ball off. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And they were warned. That's it. Nobody told them. There was no public outcry. Nobody was asking for Phillip Rivers' head on a table. Nobody was saying, oh, they should take, partly because the Chargers hadn't really done anything. I'm talking about success-wise in championships and that sort of thing in a while. But, nobody was crying for them to be, hung in front of the town square for everybody to see. Did I say? Yeah, Phillip Rivers has to do with the other non-scandal where the Chargers were rubbing the ball with some adhesive substance, and when the NFL asked for the balls to determine, whether or not, such allegations were true, at first they didn't even give him the ball. They didn't even give him the ball. Eventually they did. They were only fined $20,000. So why is it that all of a sudden we, fast forward to, Super Bowl week 2015? Why is it all of a sudden is ball tampering such a big deal? And it's because of what the people wanted, and the people wanted to see the Patriots struck down, because they've been the best franchise in the NFL for 15 years. You know, longer than that, really. Well, yeah, 15 years. You know, they've been the best franchise in the NFL for a long time. They've dominated their division for 15 years, and just people are tired of it. And you know, they nitpick and they look and find little itty bitty things about Tom Brady that they don't like, and you know, this and that was the whole thing going into the Super Bowl. It was that people just thought, you know, people thought. I compare it to, you know, Muhammad Ali when he was winning and when he was beating everybody. They had the great white hope, the great, you know, white guy that was going to take him down. And it was the exact opposite. With, you know, he was this generation, not he. The Seahawks were this generation's and this situation's great white hope. They were a team that was going to finally take down this dominant force that just couldn't be couldn't be stopped except by the Giants twice. That's a whole nother story. You know, and that was the whole narrative going into, the Patriots shouldn't be here. You know, they cheated, which, you know what I'm saying. We're talking about a difference of 0.07 pounds per square inch. 0.07. It's not even a full point. 0.07. Really? Really? 0.07. And this is some grievous, you know, some grievous infraction to the game, to the integrity of the game of football. Like, you know, this just is tantamount. This is, you know what I'm saying, this is a matter of national security. If we allow the Patriots to get away with this, who knows what could come next? You know what I'm saying? Aliens could come down and take over the world. No, it's not going to happen. No, it's not that serious. It really isn't. It's a really small deal that people blew up. It's a really small molehill that people blew up into a mountain because they wanted to see Tom Brady and the Patriots punished. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever will be. And Roger Goodell, again, you know what I'm saying, he does his job. Ted Wells does his job and delivers to the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? And it's routine in situations like this for him to not really have anything to go on, but just to go ahead and just punish somebody because the people want to. You know, when the whole Bounty Gate thing happened, you know, and he just backs up his accusations with these vague terms, these big words. When Bounty Gate happened, and Greg Williams, the Rams' current defensive coordinator, was offering, you know, money for taking out players and, you know, that sort of thing. And the reason why he suspended Sean Payton was, you know, ignorance. What did he say? He said, ignorance is not an excuse. It's not an excuse, it's a reason. If I didn't know, how can I not stop something? So if that's the case, then why don't every time somebody gets caught for using steroids, we punish the coaches and we punish the organization as well? It's the same principle. You know, with the Ray Rice situation, which I will admit at first, the 2-game suspension was extremely lenient for the situation, but he didn't basically banish Ray Rice from the NFL until the video came out. And when people ask, well, you know, what was different? Because, you know what I'm saying, I don't know about, you know, Roger Goodell's understanding. I don't know about you guys' understanding, but my understanding was that before the video came out was that Ray Rice and his then, I think it was his then fiance, and, you know, his boo thing, whatever, his rib, got into an argument and he knocked her out in the elevator and then dragged her out. And then when the video came out, what did we see? He got into an argument and Ray Rice knocked her out. And I'm not saying that this is, it's small, it's, you know what I'm saying, you know, that is a serious crime. I don't believe in putting my hands on a female in any situation, unless, you know, it's life-threatening or something like that. So I definitely think he should have been punished. But he shouldn't have been held, to really get to it, you know what I'm saying, he didn't banish him until the video came out, you know, and everybody saw this, and it made, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it just looked really bad. It just looked really bad for an NFL player to do, and that's why he suspended him indefinitely. You know, and then when I asked about it, he said, oh, well, you know, what he told us was ambiguous. You know, it wasn't exactly, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about you. And then, you know, the reports coming out that they saw the video before it came out and they just didn't, you know, do anything about it. Whether or not those reports are true is, you know, really doesn't matter. It's ambiguous. And now, you know, it's more probable than not that Brady was generally aware. It's more probable that phrase in and of itself means nothing. It means he, you know, it's kind of possible that he knew a little bit of something. We're not sure what he knew. We're not sure how much of it that he knew, but we know he knew. We know he know. We know that we know that he know that he know that we know that we know that he know that he knows that what he knows what he did. That's what all that means. That's what all that means. Like I said in my last video, I said anything more than a slap on the wrist, you know, for Tom Brady and the Patriots was going to be ridiculous. Roger Goodell did not disappoint. He did what I thought he was going to do. He bowed out to the public. What can you do? You know, this is just my opinion. Greatest Bro on Turf. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you disagree with me on any point, which I'm sure some people will and see this will, hit me up in the comments or hit me up on Twitter at Greatest Bro LA. This is me signing out.